Okay, what's up, y'all? Let's see. Welcome back to my Storytime channel where, you're here for a good story. I definitely got it. Um, so let's see. Starting this part, now keep in mind that my stories always have a beginning, a middle, and the end. And wherever you jump in is where you jump in. So the part of the story that I'm giving you here, there is definitely a leading up to a point that you'll have to go back and find the video later, because I'm recording this ahead of time. Later in the future, I'll try to rearrange them to make it easier for you to find creative playlists, such and such, blah blah blah. I'm trying to keep this as real as possible, just to be free and really tap into my memory to give you this good story time. So here we go. So this story time is the story of when I, I don't even know how to say it, but the story of when someone proposed to me and asked for permission from my mother while my boyfriend was in the other room asleep. Right? Okay. So I'm just going to jump into how this story leads off, because there's much juicy parts to the story that even leads us up to, wait, what? How did you make it that far? Okay. So again, so I won't use real names, of course, because that's what people do. So we will call the one that proposed to me, we'll call him, because he was a really nice, sweet guy. Very respectful. Just, I guess I want to say, had his own agenda, right? So let's see. I gotta give him a name that I'm gonna remember. Um, okay, we'll just call him, because we got to keep up with this name with the story. So how can I make it make sense? I don't want to take too much time. I'm trying to find a name for this guy. Okay. Um. Okay, I'll just give him a different name. This is Andy, right? So hopefully I can remember this name. I might even have to write these down at one point. So Andy, um, somewhere in the story that, again, I'll let you know how we led up to this point, but Andy became a really good friend, who did some things by helping me out and taking care of me in a desperate, hard situation in my first freshman college years, right? So Andy, regardless of how we met, that's not important at this time, was still a good friend while I was dating this other really good guy. He was a boyfriend of mine that I met in high school. And me and him, we had a connection, a deep connection, a very cool connection. And he just was a really good boyfriend at the time, right? And we'll call the really good boyfriend, hmm, we will call, okay, we'll call the really good boyfriend John, right? So at this point, I'm living with John, and I don't think his sister was living there yet, but I'm living with John, and it was a holiday season. And for some reason, I asked my living boyfriend, for permission for my family to come over and spend some time with us, and then his family will come over and spend some time. Because I believe that me and him were getting pretty serious. I gotta go back and check the situation, but I think at that point, me and the really good boyfriend, John, at that time was getting really good, was getting very serious, and we wanted, our families to meet each other. So what better way to do it over a holiday break? And either this was Thanksgiving or Christmas. I really want to say, I believe it was Christmas. I know why. So I believe this was like the Christmas, holiday at this time. So um, my mother had came over the night before. Maybe my brother was living with me at that time, but my mother had came. We'll call my brother Jordan. So maybe my brother Jordan was living with me at that time, and my mom was coming over to cook the day before so we could have a really good dinner, right? And the really good friend Andy and I were good friends at this time, and the really good boyfriend John knew about him and he was okay. Now keep that in mind, right? The really good boyfriend, which is why he's a really great boyfriend, trusted me and trusted everything that I had. Nothing hidden, nothing secret, no secrets, and there was nothing that was going on between me and Andy like that. Period. Right? That conversation was not there. It just wasn't. And you'll find out why from other story times of how I even met Andy. Right? So anyway, I'm thinking everything is just innocent and fun. Hey, really good boyfriend John, my really good friend Andy, who is in the, okay, he was in the, I want to get it right, the Navy, and he was on the submarines. So we continuously conversated while he was away on the submarines, just giving him some social connection back to the world, as it is. So we were just continuing with our friendship. Anyway, we were just really good friends. So he also was like, "Hey, I have nothing going on the holidays. I'm coming in. I would like to spend some time with you and just have some fun. Meet your boyfriend, meet your really good boyfriend, all that. What do you think?" So I ran it by my real good boyfriend, like, "Hey, in all innocence and fun, he wants to come up here and spend the holidays with us, because he just doesn't have too much family, regardless, nothing to do, blah blah blah." And a really good boyfriend is like, "Yeah, sure, of course. You know what I mean? I trust him. Everybody will be here. I can't see why you would do it. I know you're not that type of person. I can't see why you would do something crazy that I shouldn't trust you." So, bam, cool, wow, right? Really good friend, Andy comes into town. And if I remember correctly, pick him up from the airport. That was just fine. Can't remember if my boyfriend was there or not during the pickup time. Anyway, pick him up from the airport, and he comes straight to the apartment where everyone is. Now, mind you, everybody in the house is active. It's full of his family, the really good boyfriend's family, and my family, and now the really good friend Andy, right? And we're all having a great time playing games, playing video games, playing board games, blah blah blah, all the above. Everything's going great. So the end of the night, everything's cool, fine and dandy. Everything's cleaning up. We're closing down, da da da. Right? Everybody is. It's. I mean, the rooms are packed. So anyway, we're left with my mother, my brother that we're gonna call Jordan, um, Andy, and the really good boyfriend John. And at some point, technically everyone is asleep except for my brother and the really good friend. I believe, if the story is right, they're in the living room playing the video game. So, okay, all right, we're done playing Monopoly. That's what it was. We played a super long game of Monopoly because the really good boyfriend was really good at playing Monopoly and making it fun. So we finally go to bed, tap out, and I believe the story goes, I got a text message or email or something from the really good friend. And he's like, I need to talk to you real quick. I need you to hurry up and come out the room because I'm in the room with my really good boyfriend. I'm laying down, getting ready to go to sleep. We're in the bed asleep. I think we were asleep. And he's like, I need to talk to you, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I think even at that point, I turn and tell my really good boyfriend, hey, I'm about to go out here and socialize for a minute. Now, keep in mind, my mother and my brother is out there as well, right? So, of course, everything's all innocent. So, and to my mind, everything's all innocent. So, I get out there, and he's at the table with my mother. And the scenery is kind of like my brother is in the living room playing the video game, and the really good friend is at the table with my mother, and it's like this calm, relaxing, dark setting, right? A couple lights on the stove. I'll put you in the mood. So you come into the kitchen area, you cut to the left, and the lights are off. You got the refrigerator, the counters, and then the stove, and the little light above the stove is on, shining amber, right? So you've got that like amber light going. And then you look over to the little dining room area. There's a window, blinds are closed, but there's a nice table. And you see the really good friend and my mother sitting at the table. And I want to say the really good friend was either at this point in tears or getting ready to be in tears. So I walk in and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on, right? So I sit down at the table, and my mother, knowing my mother, she's got this look on her face like, just like, what in the world do you got going on now, girl? Because she know her daughter. Like, what in the world do you... And I'm sitting here in all innocence, like, I don't know what's going on. I'm walking in on what? So I sit down and tell him, I'm like, what's going on? So long story short, he's like, he had been out there confessing his love to my mother. And I guess because the way the day went and how everything was positive and great in connection with the family, and he felt like it was just something that he wanted in his life. He was confessing something new to me, to my mother, about how deeply he felt about me and how he wanted to marry me. Now, unbeknownst to me, keep in mind, I am completely unaware of these deep feelings that he has, that it's even like this. Like, so what, you know what I'm saying? And my mother is shaking her head like, mom, you know what I mean? My mama a real woman, she know what's up. Like, this can breed hot mess, because you got a whole boyfriend in there in the room who is a great boyfriend, and he ain't doing no harm, no wrong, and what is going on? So I'm looking at my mom the same way, like, that's how I feel too. Like, what in the world is going on? This can't be new. So then I cut over to the living room. Remember, I'm gonna give you the scene, and you see my brother sitting in the living room, kind of dark because there's some kids out there, kind of sleep, whatever. You know what I mean? Lights down low, but you got the glow of the video game. He's into the video game, but he's definitely peeping the conversation. Like, what in the world, right? And I'm like, Mark, oh, excuse me, I'm gonna have to blur that out. The brother's name is Jordan. You know what I mean? Like, what? Do you hear this? And he like, not getting into it, but I'm fully listening. And so cut back to mama. Mama's like, this gotta stop. So she is definitely turning to the real good friend and trying to keep his emotions calm and keep him level. Like, first of all, this ain't how this work. You know what I mean? Regardless of how deep in love you are for her, you are up here in this man's home. And this is just, she's just not sit right with this. She's not okay with this, all the way down to she like, yeah, Tamara, you need to tell him what's up, and he needs to go. Right? And the really good friend is looking at me like, listen, I've just confessed my love to you. I'm expecting you to marry me and run away. So, Pete, yes, he does pop out a ring that he has already pre-purchased, and he had already had premeditated this whole situation, that he was going to come up here to swoop me off my feet and take me away from, regardless of who I'm with and how it's going. More so because it's going great with the really good boyfriend. He is confirmation to him that I'm a good woman, I guess, and he just want me for himself, right? Sinner saved by grace. Hello, I think, there's a couple kings in the Bible that always messes their life up for that. Me wanting another man's wife, covenant another man's wife. I'm not his wife. Anyway, I wasn't his wife at that point. So anyway, really good boyfriend is still in the room, technically sleep. Now, I think according to the story, really good boyfriend is actually in the room sleep. He either drunk, knocked out, sleep. It's like he's just unaware of what is going on. And I'm out here at the table trying to tell this dude, like, this is far from okay. This is new to me. He crying. I'm crying because I'm scared. Like, this is a whole, at this point, this is when it sets into my young mind that this is a whole entire stranger. I don't know this man. I don't know if he crazy, blah, blah, blah. All I know is that I just thought he was a real good person with a real good character. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, back at the table, like, what are you going to do? And I'm telling this dude, like, it just... what? You know what I mean? I got a really good boyfriend that I'm actually in love with. You know what I mean? Like, no, this ain't that. Why would you think that? And yes, now you have to go because I have to tell my really good boyfriend this. And how do you tell the really good boyfriend who trusted this whole situation that no, this man had a whole nother agenda, and literally had a whole nother agenda, in all innocence to him, because his heart was real. He had a really good agenda, but what your really good agenda was selfishly for you and not thinking about anybody. So really, definitely not thinking about me. Like, let's say I didn't have a really good boyfriend and he was crazy and wanted to pop off on me and thought that I was trying to play him and had him just all set up in this, but that was definitely not it. So anyway, it's somewhere close to gosh, 4 or 5 in the morning when we're having this conversation. And I'm like, listen, I'm already not feeling right. I don't want the really good boyfriend to pop up, walk out. And I really want to say his mom and sister was there too. And they were in the other bedroom sleeping. But I don't know. I have to confirm that. So I'm like, I need to get back to this bed so it don't look like something else is going on already. What this crazy, what? Huh. Put the ring away. It's not happening. So the really good friend is just like devastated, heartbroken, and embarrassed now at this point. And he too is like ready to go. And I believe the way the story goes is by the next morning, he was gone. He had packed up and left and grabbed his stuff, like, you know, I wanted you, but you didn't want me. Now, did me and the really good friend stay good friends? Okay, first of all, yes, I did tell the really good boyfriend the very next morning, like, you are not gonna believe what just happened in the middle of the night while you was there, right? And he like, what? Get out of here! You gotta be kidding me! He like, even he didn't peep it. Like, he didn't peep it because I wasn't on that. So me and the really good friend were not giving that vibe. Like, we had something secret hidden going beyond a friendship, because that's what it was like. And I didn't understand like how this dude could really portray like he had nothing, no other agendas, and was just a really good friend to me, but at the same time really did want to like snatch me up. So the really good boyfriend is like, man, that's messed up, glad he gone. Got, like, cut that short. Like, what's the point of even having communication with him? I'm like, you're right. So at that point, of course, it only went like one more message: hey, are you okay? Want to make sure you made it back safely. And you know what I mean, I'm sorry that it didn't go right, but I just had to be honest with you, like, I'm not feeling you like that. I have a whole good relationship. So yeah, he was hurt by it, and at that point we stopped being really good friends. Over the years, he did end up leading a very successful life, I think, in Vegas, and started some nightclubs or night businesses. So we kept in contact as, me and the really good boyfriend split up. That can definitely be another good story at a later time. Tons of stories connected around me. But so at that point, the really good friend was out there mixing and mingling. Now, to this day, and that was back in, oh man, that had to been in somewhere around the, like, maybe 90, gosh, I want to say maybe around like 99, 98, 99, year 98, 99, maybe 2000, maybe even hit 2000, somewhere around there, because I remember Y2K. I was a Y2K baby. Nah, I wasn't born in Y2K, but I remember the Y2K situation and purchasing a t-shirt and wearing it. When I think I was in a relationship with a really good boyfriend. So that's why I think those are the years. So anyway, so if you fast forward all the way to 2022, do I know where the really good friend is? Technically not. I believe if I really wanted to search really hard, I probably could find him. There's no reason why I should or would. But I remember the last time we communicated is, if you remember back when maybe Black Planet existed before it turned into really Tag, is we had Black Planet profiles, and that's how we would keep up with each other and how each other's doing on life and checking in. But no, we never got a relationship. I did think that was a little borderline psycho crazy. I'm gonna be, nice in my words, because again, to me, he could have been just a really good friend, but he just had some feelings. So, but at the same time, he could have definitely been crazy, and me being a sinner saved by grace probably escaped something by being conscious enough to not open a Pandora's box and disrespect the really good boyfriend while family is around, and then turn into a hot mess. But I just can't believe that I really did wake up to this dude at the table asking my mother for permission, telling my mother he wanted to marry me and was nervous, and you know tried to get his mission accomplished, and it didn't work. So extra more story times connected to this one. I think after this, it definitely leads up to how me and the really good boyfriend broke up. And I still got to figure out, like, did I cause the breakup? It's a lot to that, but we'll get to it.